Shalom, Most High in Christ blessed. I'm Officer Nahum with IUIC Raleigh. Today my title of my class is The Most High's Tabernacle and Holy Vessels. Okay, so I wanted to touch on this class here. I wanted to give everybody a visual, touch on some history to show, how the tabernacle, how it was made, how all the victuals, all the furniture, all that stuff, how it was created, how it was made. And, everything here, is of the Most High. So we're going to read the scriptures here, touch on this. Lord's will, hope everybody gain some understanding from this, okay? All righty. So let's start here real quick. We're going to start let's go to Exodus chapter 24, and we're going to start at, we start at verse 12. Exodus chapter 24 and verse 12 real quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 24 and verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up into the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. Right.
So what we touching on here, this is Moses going up into the mountain. He's going up here to speak with the Most High. So he said, hey, he left people down there that, hey, I need y'all to handle these matters. Anything come up, y'all deal with the people. Why? Because I got to talk to the Most High. Most High got some information he's got to give to me, right? So I know, a lot of people think Moses just went to the mountain. He just got, the tables of stone and that's it, But you got to think he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights, right? So read on.
Verse 15, and Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount, and the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And the seventh day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud.
Right. So now he's speaking to Moses, and he called his name and said, hey, come on up here. I need to speak with you. Read.
And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and gat him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights.
Right, so now he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. So we got to find out what was going on up there during that time of the 40 days and 40 nights. So I want you to go to 2nd Ezra chapter 14, and we're going to start at verse 1. We'll read on down a little bit. But, we got to give everybody that history to show what took place. I know a lot of people be wondering, like, how did Moses write the first 5 books? How did he get all that information? He wasn't born way back during the time of Genesis or during the early part of Exodus. So let's read on. Read what you got.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 1. And it came to pass upon the 3rd day, I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me, and said, Ezra.
So just like Moses got called, he got called from the Most High, right? He said, hey, so now we reading about Ezra's in the book of 2nd Ezra. Ezra's is the same Ezra that you see in the Bible, okay? That you read about. It's in your Bibles. But if you get a King James 1611, you'll also have the Apocrypha in it, which mean hidden books, okay? The white Protestant church took out during the time we started to be able to learn how to read after slavery, okay? So read.
And I said, Here am I, Lord. And I stood up upon my feet. Then said he unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talk with him when my people served in Egypt.
Right, so this is further proof right here. So, hey, this is the same angel that came and spoke to Moses, okay? So he was like, hey, I'm coming to speak to you. Because during this time, all the books were burned and destroyed during the time of the Persian and Medes, okay? So now the Bible had to be rewritten all over again. But he's going to give you some information here to show you what took place. What did Moses see, what did Moses witness when he went up there into the mount? All right, then he got called up there. He seen the chariots and all that. Read.
And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt and brought him up to the Mount of Sinai, where I held him by me a long season.
That's that 40 days and 40 nights. So you got to think about Moses went up there twice for 40 days and 40 nights. Not just that one time. He went up. Remember that first time he went up there, came back, and Israel was playing around, dancing and worshiping idols. You know what I'm saying? Remember his brother, Aaron, they had made all them idols and stuff. It caused them to sin. So, hey, remember he threw that thing and he broke it? Hey, guess what? He had to go back up there and get it again. So he said, don't worry about it. I got some more stuff for you. So read on.
And told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the time.
So he told him many wondrous things, right? So the wondrous things, we're gonna read about that. That's what I'm talking about as far as the Most High's tabernacle in this holy vessels. So he showed him many wondrous things and the secret of time. When he showed him the beginning, the midst, and the ends of times. Okay, so that's how he was able to prophesy, to read, and to bring out what took place, what happened during the time of Adam and Eve, what also took place, during the midst and in the end of time. So that's how he had these prophecies. Read.
And the end, and commanded him, saying, these words shalt thou declare, and these shalt thou hide.
Right. He said, hey, some things you're going to bring out. I want you to make it plain for the people. And then there's some things that's going to be, I want you to hide that. I need everybody to know that. But read.
And now I say unto thee, that thou lay up in thy heart the signs that I have showed, and the dreams that thou hast seen, and the interpretations which thou hast heard.
Right. So now we're going to get into the lesson here. So go ahead. I want you to read. We're going to start at Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1 real quick. So read what you got there.
The book of Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram skin dyed red and badger skin and shittim wood.
Right, hold that. So he tell him, say, we're going to need these resources. I need all these items, all these different things that y'all had. Because when we left Egypt, we took all their stuff when we left and went into the wilderness. You can read about that in the earlier chapters of Exodus. Okay, read.
Oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them.
Right, read.
According to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall we make it.
Right. So he's letting you know. He said, everything that I showed you, what I'm saying? He said, according to all that I showed thee, because he's showing him this right here while he's up there in the mount. He said, hey, this is how I want this done, because everything looks like what it looked like up in heaven, okay? So it's just a mirror of the same thing up above. He said, y'all gonna have the same thing down here on the earth. Why? Because we God's chosen people. Okay, so I want you to read on.
Verse 10, and they shall make an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof.
Right. So now I was going into is showing you the ark, right? So I got some pictures here. I want you to give me can you give me picture 1, IT? Pull up picture 1. All right, so you could blow it. You could. I want y'all to see the picture there. This is like a depiction. All these pictures that we're gonna show you, we're not saying that's the actual image of it, but it's more of a depiction of how it may have looked. Okay, so this is the Ark of the Covenant and the mercy seat, what you guys are looking at. So we're gonna read about this right here. So you guys, I want to give everybody a vision to see what when you read about it, when it talks about this. So now you know what it's talking about. Okay. So this is like a more depiction of it, but read. We'll go back to where we started. Read it, verse 10 again.
Verse 10, and they shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold. Within and without shalt thou overlay it. And shall make upon it a crown of gold round about.
Right. So like what you see there, you see like if somebody had a crown, like a king or a prince. They got a crown on their head, and it's got those points and stuff. So that's what you see right there. That's on the bottom of the angels, the cherubims. You see that right there where IT's touching that? That's what it's talking about, the crown. So I'm just giving you that depiction. Read.
Verse 12. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it.
So you see the rings there that's showing you one side of it. Those are the 2 rings. On the other side, there's other rings just like that, okay? So letting you got the 4 rings on there. Read.
Verse 13, and thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold.
Right, so those staves are those things that's going in between the rings, those poles or whatever. How we would call them poles today, sticks. But they weren't no sticks. So this thing here was made with, got gold. You know what I'm saying? Overlaid with gold. You got to imagine how that thing looked in person. Read.
Verse 14, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them.
Right, borne, that B-O-R-N-E means to be carried. This is how you pick it up, and this is how it was carried from point A to point B. Read.
Verse 15, the staves shall be in the rings of the ark. They shall not be taken from it.
Right, so that thing will always be on there. You can't move it or nothing. So that thing needs to stay in there. Read.
And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee.
Right, so those tables of stone, that's what was put inside the ark. Okay, yeah, the tables of stone, and there were some more other items in there as well. We'll touch on that too. But read on.
And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1.5 cubits the breadth thereof.
Right, so now we're going to talk about the mercy seat. Now, this mercy seat ain't no seat where you sit down and get mercy. I know some people probably thought that. The first time I heard it, I thought that at one point. But when I got a little more understanding and started reading, you figure out what this mercy seat is, what it's talking about. So I want y'all to think about like if you had a chest, a treasure chest or a cooler or something, like what we have today. Or something where you would store something, I forgot what you call it, like a little chest box or something. But read.
And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold. Of beaten work shalt thou make them in the 2 ends of the mercy seat.
Right here on the 2 ends of the mercy seat. So that mercy seat is going. Those cherubims are angels. That's another name for angels. Okay, so you can put 2 of them on the top of them, and they're going to be on top of the mercy seat. Okay, so read.
And make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof.
Read.
And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on the high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be.
Right. So it's pretty much like they kind of almost in the position of like how they looking down. They're on their knees. And the cherubims, the angels are looking down with their faces toward the top of the mercy seat. So the mercy seat is the lid of the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, so that thing can come up. You can remove the lid, and you can put the items that's supposed to be stored in there. We're gonna touch on that. So just letting you know, just giving you that depiction of how the Ark of the Covenant looked. Okay, read on.
And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee.
Right. So what I'm going to give you that testimony, which is going into the 2 tables of stones, which had the law, statutes, and commandments in there. You had the 10 commandments, and you had other things that was written on there as well. Right. So read verse 22.
And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat. From between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel.
Right. So now, can you give me picture number 2? The picture number 2, IT. So you just want to give y'all that visual so you can see what's going on. So when Moses went back there to go speak to the Most High, it would be some sort of, I'm not sure, we ain't never seen it, what I'm saying, but we can just read what it's talking about. He said, I'm going to speak to you from in between of the mercy seat on the top of it. He said he'll make his vision or whatever, how he had some smoke or some light, or whatever it was. Hey, that was that depiction of how he spoke to the Most High, okay? So that's what it looked like, just giving you an example, how you got the crowns, you got the rings, you got the staves that you hold and carry it. So that's more of a depiction of it. So I want you to hold where we at real quick, and we're gonna go to I want to go to Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 1 real quick. Go to Hebrews chapter 9, verse 1.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 1. Then verily the first covenant had also ordinance and of divine service and a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made, the first wherein was the candlestick and the table and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary.
Right. So we're going to touch on all these items here. You know, all these items about the sanctuary. What was taking place? That's what we're talking about. The first. This is what we had when we was in the wilderness. This is what we made. This is what we how we conduct ourselves during high holy days. Read.
And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all.
Right. So we're going to break down all that too. We're going to show you a vision, a picture of how that look as well. Read.
Which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant.
Right. So now this is showing you what's inside, what was inside the Ark of the Covenant. So read that verse again, verse 4.
Verse 4, which had the golden censer and the Ark of the Covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna.
Hold that right there. So there was a golden pot you read about in Exodus as well, when the Most High gave us manna to eat, right? He said, this is angel food. So he told Moses, he told Moses and Aaron, he said, go ahead and take up some of the manna, put it in that what do you call it? He said, what is it called? The pot. Put in that gold and put in that pot, and I want you to save that thing to show to your children, show to the, probably to us when we come out of, when we get our kingdom, to show us what the manna looked like, what that thing was about, okay? And that was put inside the Ark of the Covenant. Read.
And Aaron's rod that budded.
So in Aaron's rod, remember Aaron had the rod, that he used, he was doing the miracles and stuff with. So that rod, just let you know, that rod was cut out of the tree, but that rod had life in it. It budded. You know what I'm saying? That, had flowers and stuff. You got to think about that. He had a staff, and that thing budded. Read.
And the tables of the covenant.
So that's the 2 tables of stones. Okay, that's what's inside the Ark of the Covenant. Read.
And over it the cherubims of glory, shadowing the mercy seat, of which we cannot now speak particularly.
Right, because, they couldn't speak about that thing during this time, during the time of Christ. So there's something that happened to the... We're going to touch on that as well. Something happened to the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant was moved. I'm just going to say it like that, but we'll touch on that history. So why it being moved, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's why our forefathers during this time frame, during we call it the Greek captivity, this happened like during the Babylonian captivity. So that thing was moved and it was hidden. Matter of fact, we're gonna touch on it as well. We're gonna touch on that. I want to make sure everybody get the full understanding. So that's what that's going into. But read.
Now, when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of God. But into the second went the high priest alone, once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people.
Right. Read.
The Holy Ghost, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest.
Right. So that's what I just wanted to touch on that real quick. All I wanted was to verse 7. I kind of overlooked that something on my notes, but we wanted up to verse 7. So this is explaining, the service, what was in there, how the tabernacle, what the use was for. Okay, so let's go back to where we was at here in Exodus chapter 25, and where we was at? We was at verse what?
Verse
20. No, actually, we're verse 21.
Verse 21. The book of Exodus chapter 25 and verse 21. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. So
we read about what the testimony was. Those 2 tables of stones, and remember the Aaron's rod that budded, and they had the little pot that had the manna in it too as well. I ain't gonna say little pot, but it was a pot of manna. Read.
And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony of all things, which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel.
Right, right. So now we read about the Ark of the Covenant. We, to see, to show you how it was made, what the use was for. We're gonna show you also where it was stored. Down the line. Because I got to break down all the rest of the furniture and all the other holy vessels. Okay. So read on. Read verse 23.
Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. Right.
So give me that picture there real quick of picture number 3, picture 3. So we're going to show you what the table of showbread was, okay? Get that for me there. The table of showbread. You can blow it up a little bit. So this is a depiction of the showbread right here. This is where they kept the bread at, where the priest, this is where like unleavened bread or cakes is what they would call it. And it was always there. It had to always stay there. But we're going to read more about it. But read.
And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about.
Right. So it's got a crown of gold as well. Just like how the ark had the crown of gold. It's got that crown just like a crown on a king. Read.
And thou shalt make unto it a border of an handbreadth round about, and thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof.
Right. So see how you got the 4 feet? That is just like how you got a table, your dinner table. But you see, remember the ark had the rings, that was on top. These rings here are on the legs. Okay. So the rings are used for the same purpose. But read on.
Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table.
Right, got to have staves so it could be carried and moved. Read.
And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal of pure gold shalt thou make them.
Right. So you had the spoon. There was a cup. There was different, the stuff there to hold the plates and all that. All that stuff was gold. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff looked pretty, looked nice. If you seen that thing in somebody's house, you'd be like, yo, where you get that from? They ain't get it from Rooms to Go. You can't order that thing online. That thing had to be created, with the vision that Moses had from the Most High. Right? Read.
And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always.
Always. So that thing always had to be full of showbread. Most High didn't want that thing with part. This was missing. You go to some people's house, they may have something set there, but you may have a piece of bread missing, or you may have something missing. You might have a chicken and the chicken leg missing. He said, I want that thing set before me at all times. Most High want everything in order, everything looking nice and neat and clean, right? So now we're gonna I want you to take that down there and go to picture number 4. Picture number 4. So everybody know what this thing here is. This is the menorah. For those that don't know, the menorah is the candlesticks. Okay, the seven candlesticks. So this item also was in the tabernacle of the Most High. Okay. Read what you got.
Verse 31. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same. Right.
All that stuff should be of the same. So I want y'all to look and you see what's going on. You see the depiction of what I'm saying, of the picture there on the TV screen. I would say it like on your computer. But go back. I want you to read verse 31 one more time.
Verse 31. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same.
Right. So I want you to go to the other picture that I sent you. I want to say it's picture 5. This go a little more in detail of the menorah. So it explained what we just read. You can blow that up. Blow it on up. Okay. So I want y'all to see you see the lamps. You see the the three-leg base. You see the decorative cup that it was talking about, the knobs and the flowers. So it's pointing at all those items. So now you'll know what it's talking about. I know some people may have the menorah as well. I know we got two of them over here that we got set up as far as decor, and it's got those knobs and things of that nature, those shapes. So read verse 32.
And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it.
Right. So that first is going into that middle part. You got the middle part. That's the candlestick, right? Then you got 6 branches that have come out. So you'll notice the fake Jews, Amalek. You know what I'm saying? They have 8 or 9, candlesticks. That's not biblical. The Bible said it's got to have 7 candlesticks. Okay. So with those branches, 6 branches with that one candlestick in the middle. Read.
3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side.
Right. So just showing you this is more a depiction of what it's supposed to look like. Okay. So you would never read about no 8 or no 9 or nothing like that. I would say this is. I'm glad we touching on this. I know y'all probably see the decoration in the back. Usually you'll see the purple and gold. But right now we on the feast of dedication right now. So I know you will hear Esau talk about they light a candle for each day and all that. That's not biblical. You will never read that in the Bible. Okay, the feast of dedication is rededication of the temple. Okay, they had to cleanse the temple because during the time of the Greek captivity, you read about this in the Maccabees. Okay, you read about how they sacrifice swine flesh and so on and so forth, all kind of unclean matter of beast. Okay, so we had to clean that during the time of the Maccabees. But we're going to get back to the lesson here. All right, read what you got.
3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knob and a flower in one branch. And 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knob and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick.
Right, so that's going into the 6 branches. That you got the one candlestick that it's talking about, and you got the 6 branches that come out of that one. So that's how you got the 7. Okay, so and it's talking about like the almonds. You know the shape of an almond. You know what I'm saying? Everybody eat almonds, so you'll see the shape of that. It's let you know that's how that shape was. Okay, so let's go back and read
verse 34. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knobs and their flowers.
Right, with the knobs and their flowers. Right, so I just want y'all to see that on that picture there, so you get an idea what it's talking about and that it makes sense to you. That way, you may look at it and be like, I don't understand what it's talking about, but now you got a better visual read.
And there shall be a knob under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceeded out of the candlestick.
Right, read.
Their knobs and their branches shall be of the same. All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold.
Right, that thing of pure gold. That thing. Think about that big. That thing was big too. You would see when Rome ransacked Jerusalem and they was carrying those items out of the temple. Okay, and that was one item that they showed a picture of. Read.
And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it.
Right, so this thing had to be lit in the temple. Okay, read.
And the tongues thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold.
Right, so there was tongues that were made also for it, that take out the fire. Okay, you put it on there to burn, let the fire out. Read.
Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern which was showed thee in the mount.
Right, remember all this stuff was showed to him in the mount, just like what we read in chapter 24, the last few verses, and you read about that what we read earlier in 2nd Ezra chapter 14. These are the things the vision that was showed to him, how to make this thing, how to make it look just like according to how the items are made in heaven. Okay, so now we're going. I want you to go to. We're going to jump to chapter 26.
The book of Exodus, chapter 26. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twin linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them.
Right. So give me the other picture. Picture number 6. So picture number 6. This is an example of of what it's talking about the tabernacle. You could blow that up right there with that portion there. All right, you could blow it up. So just to show y'all how the thing was set up, you come down a little bit with the picture. Come down. No, not up, down. Come on down so I can see all that stuff. Okay, right there, perfect. All right, so it's showing you the curtains and stuff, how it was made. You see the angels, what it's talking about. I want you to read verse 1 again.
Verse 1, moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet. With cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them.
Right, so just to show you on that, you look on the top of the curtains, there's angels. There's like a depiction of the angels in there. So when that tent was set up, there was like angels and that was like embedded in there, sewed in there. I mean, you got to have some kind of skills to make that thing look the way how we can try to imagine. This is more how the white man, how he has it depicted. But hey, that even to see what it got on it, that's hard to do. Just to sew that, weave that in there to make it look like that. So, but read on.
The length of one curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and every one of the curtains shall have one measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the selvage in the coupling, and likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second.
Right. So just like you had loops and you had hoops and things of that nature that was in the curtains. Okay, how that thing had to be. And what I'm referring to is the curtains that you see outside, not the one on the inside, the one on the outside. Okay. Read on where we left off at. Read.
50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another.
Right, so that way it can hook to each other, and like join together like a puzzle. Okay, read.
And thou shalt make 50 thatches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the thatches, and it shall be one tabernacle.
Right, it should be one tabernacle. That thing will come together like a puzzle piece, and it was attached together. Okay, so that way it could be overlaid. So when they it's just showing you when you overlay it. Think about when you try to pull something over something metal or wood, it can rip, it can tear. So it was a certain way how they had to do that thing. Read.
And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. Right.
So they say you got to have the what was made of goat's hairs, right? So you see that one part how they got the fabric broken 3. You had the ram. You had some that was made of ram skin that was dyed red. You had the goat hair. You had fine twisted linen. Blue and purple. Just showing y'all, giving y'all that depiction so you can see how things look when we was out there wandering. For 40 years in the wilderness, what we had to set up, okay, and practice, rehearse the righteous acts. Read.
The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. Mm-hmm. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupled the second. And thou shalt make 50 thatches of brass, and put the thatches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one.
Mm-hmm. Read.
And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle.
Right. So this thing will hang over, just like how we see a depiction of it's hanging over there on that one side. It'll stretch all the way over. Read.
And a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering above a badger skin.
Read. This is like what we was showing you up there. So you had different colors, you had different like patterns and things of that nature. Read.
And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board.
Right. So all those boards that what it's talking about, what you see how it's, what the curtains will go over, that like the frame of it, all that stuff. It was overlaid with gold as well. Read.
2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle 20 boards on the south side southward. Mm-hmm. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons.
Right. So it just giving you just that depiction. We're gonna try to read through this part fast. It's a lot, but I just want to make sure we read it and you guys see the visual. You can kind of look back and forth to see how this thing was, how it looked and how it was set up. Read.
And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, there shall be 20 boards. And there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board.
Read.
And for the sides of the tabernacle westward thou shalt make 6 boards. And 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards in their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side.
Okay. You got to restart from the
Verse 20.
Verse 20. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, there shall be 20 boards. And there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward, thou shalt make 6 boards. And 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in 2 sides. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it until one ring. Thus shall it be for them, both they shall be for the 2 corners.
Right. So it just shows a lot of detail for this when it was making the tabernacle. Read.
And they shall be 8 boards in their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And thou shalt make boards of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the board shall reach from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars, and thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was showed thee in the mount.
Right, so now you're going to rear him. Now you're going to stand this thing up, because at the time he's making, the stuff was laying down. It wasn't like standing up. So then they had to rear it up, sit it up, okay? So read.
And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twin linen of cunning work, with cherubim shall it be made.
All right, hold that part there, verse 31. So I want you to give me picture number 6 real quick. Picture number 6. Hold on, before you get picture number 6, before you get that, just showing you the veil is that curtain that you see there in the middle, okay, that divided the most holy place with the with the other area where you see where the tables of stones at. That's what it's talking about. You'll see in the picture, you'll see the cherubims that's weaved inside of it, but go to picture number 7 real quick so you get a little closer picture. There we go, right there. You blow it up real quick so you see the cherubims in there that was made inside there, and it's got those poles in there. We'll read about that. Read what you got. Read that verse again.
Verse 31. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, a fine twin linen of cunning work with cherubim shall it be made.
Right. So you see the cherubims in there, how they bowing down. Read.
And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold.
Right, so that wood was overlaid with gold. So you see, they were like gold pillars. You know what I'm saying? And you had the veil that which was made in between. Read.
Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place.
Right. So I want you to go. I want you to go back to the last picture, picture number 5. So we're gonna show them a depiction. All right. So we blow that back up real quick. So now it's going into now it's showing you the most holy place right there. That's to the left. You see where the Ark of the Covenant was. Right. So read verse 34 one more time.
And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place.
Right, so now that's where they set it at. When they carried it over there with the staves and they sat it in this place, then they set the mercy seat on top of it, okay? Read.
And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side.
So right, so now blow it up again and come down a little bit. I want them to see how everything's set up. Yeah, make that thing. You can make it bigger. All right, so y'all see that right there. You see where the priest is at. He's in front of one of the vessels there, which is that's the altar and incense. We hadn't read it yet. Then you got the table with the showbread, which is over to the right. And then you got the menorah, the candlestick, which is said that part there is called the holy. All that's called the holy place. Then you got the most holy place, which was divided by the veil. Okay, so read on.
And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twin linen wrought with needlework.
Right. So I'll show a picture of that later. It's going into the entrance of the door when they came into the tabernacle. Okay, read.
And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold, and thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them.
Right. So just give me that depiction of how that thing there looked. That thing had to be very pretty, very beautiful. You know what I'm saying? A nice, beautiful tent. You know what I'm saying? With all those colors and all those designs and things of that nature that was out there in the wilderness. Okay. So now we're gonna go to read. We're gonna go to chapter 27. Chapter 27 and verse 1. And give me picture number what I want. I think it's picture number 8. Yeah, give me picture number 8 real quick as we read this. The IT, once they get the picture, we're gonna read on so you guys get that depiction of what it's talking about. Okay. See what we got here real quick. Picture number 8 right there. Okay. You blow that up real quick. So this is the bronze altar. This is what we about to read about here. So this is a depiction of how it looked. You know, look almost like it had a grill in there, like you got that grill in the middle. But we're going to read what you got, chapter 27.
Exodus 27. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof.
All right, so you got the horns. You see the horns on the 4 corners right there? Boom, they got horns that's poking out, right, on the bronze altar. Read.
His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass.
Right, so all this was made of brass right here. Why? You know, it wasn't all, this right here couldn't be made of gold because it had to burn. You burn gold, it melt. You know what I'm saying? Gold is a soft metal, but that bronze can withstand heat. Read.
And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans. All the vessels thereof shall make of brass. Right.
So hold that right there. So give me picture number 9 real quick. Go back to picture number 9. So these are the tools. These are the what do you call it? These are the pans and things of that nature. What we about to show, what they had to use. You can blow the picture up real quick. All right, yeah, that's good enough right there. So if you can read that right there. We're gonna come back to that. I want you to read what the utensils were used for. Read.
Utensils. Shovels probably used to clear away the ashes.
Right. Just like you got in your fireplace, you got a shovel there to clear the ashes. Read.
Basins to catch the blood used to sprinkle at the bottom of the altar. Forks of flesh hooks, instruments with 3 prongs used for placing the pieces of the offering upon the altar. Fire pans to carry coals from the altar into the holy place for service at the altar of incense.
Right, right. So just showing you what these items were used for. Just keep that up there for a moment, real quick. I want you to go to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and read verse 13 and 14. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 13 and 14. So just give you some to show you, further proof in the Bible, about these items and what it was used for. You got that for me?
1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 13. And the priest's customs with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came while the flesh was in seething with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand.
Right, so that's the flesh hook. That's that pitchfork looking thing there. So that's what they used to grab the meat, on what was burning, what was being sacrificed. Read.
And he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot.
Right, so that's what we see there. The all those different things that is mentioned. Read.
All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself. So they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came thither.
Right. So that was the priest's custom. That's whatever they took up from that flesh hook, whatever meat that was, that was being offered, of course, clean meat. That's what the priest took for their portion. The rest of it was burned. Okay. They took the other portion was offered to the Most High. And the other portion, that was what they kept, and that's how they did it. That's how I wanted to show y'all in the history and in the scripture of it. Okay, so let's go back to Exodus, where we left off at Exodus chapter
27, verse 4.
Read.
And thou shalt make for it a great...
read verse 3 again.
Verse 3. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, all the vessels thereof, thou shalt make of brass. Right,
all that stuff had to be made of brass. The Most High he like everything dressed right, everything in order. So go back to picture number picture number 8. Yeah, go back to picture number 8. We're gonna finish up with the brass altar. But those were the utensils that were used. Okay, read on.
And thou shalt make for it a crate of network of brass.
Right, so that grate is what you see, like what you would see on a grill. What you see there in the middle. So that they had that thing there where the animal that was being sacrificed, where they had to be set on, so they can be smoked and turn to ashes. Read.
And upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof.
Right. So you got the rings on it, just like what we read about the Ark of the Covenant and the what was that other one called? The that we had to carry. I forget what it was called. The showbread. The showbread. I almost got mixed up with the showbread and the altar incense. I ain't touched the altar incense yet. But yeah, that thing had the same rings on it, but this was up high, so it could be carried and borne. Read.
And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar.
Right, read.
And thou shalt make stays for the altar, stays of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it.
Right, read.
Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shall they make it.
Right, read. So now you see where the bronze altar, how it was made, what it's used for, and they sprinkle blood on the horns too as well. Just to let y'all know that. So now we're gonna go into the courtyard here. So if you can give me, let me see. I think I want picture number 10. Give me picture number 10, IT. And as they get in the picture, I want you to go ahead and read verse where we left off at. I think verse 9.
The book of Exodus, chapter 27 and verse 9. And thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle for the south side southward. There shall be hangings for the court of fine twin linen of 100 cubits long for one side.
Right. Hold that real quick. I want you to scroll up to the picture above. Yeah, all the way up there. Okay. Can you blow that portion there up? Just blow it as big as you can. so we can get all of it. I just want everybody to see that. So this is the courtyard right here. This is what, when they came in, and it's talking about what you see there, that's around the tent, which is the tabernacle, and you'll see how everything was set up outside. Okay, see where you got the bronze altar, which was set up there. They were smoking, and it's got another item that I hadn't touched on called the basin. But this is what it looked like outside in the court. Okay, so there was, everybody had duties and things. Priests had their offices, what they had to do. Okay, so let's go back here. Go back and read where we left off.
Verse 10. And the 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side in length there shall be hangings of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars and their 20 sockets of brass. Right. So
you can put that picture back up. I just want them to see it as we're reading it. All right, so it's showing you got your 20 pillars, you know what I'm saying, what it's going into. You see each side had pillars on it, right? So it's showing you, we just give you that depiction of what it looked like. It looked like a fort almost, So, but read on, keep that up, read.
The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10 and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the east side eastward shall be 50 cubits.
Right, so the one with the more numbers, that's the long side. And you got I think the one that said 20, that was the short side, okay? You got the long side and you got the short side. All right, so read.
The hangings of one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, their pillars 3 and their sockets 3.
Right, so read.
And on the other side shall be hangings 15 cubits, their pillars 3 and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework, and their pillars shall be 4 and their sockets 4.
Right, so this going into that front portion right there that you see. You can put the cursor over there, yeah. So it's talking about that. Read.
All the pillars round about the court shall be filled with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of brass.
Read.
The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere. And the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacle, and all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always.
Right, so you got to have that light burning, right? It was burnt with olive oil, okay? That's the same oil you'll get anointed with. Read.
In the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall order it from even to morning.
Right, it's all day. This thing got to be burning. Read.
Before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever until the generations on the behalf of the children of Israel.
Right. All praises. So now we're going to touch on, we're going to get some more information here. Let's go to, we're going to read chapter 28. So this is going into the priestly garments. Let me get that picture number 11 real quick. So just to show you a picture of the priest. I had to get that picture up there, IT, for me. I know I kind of had to send it to him in a different order. It had Esau on there first, so I had to black it out. I had to black Esau picture out. So I want to make sure put a real depiction. I ain't saying that's us, I just had to black it out. Take Esau color out, okay? So because you can get this. I got this information. I got this from a book that I purchased from Walmart a couple years ago. Okay, so let's read what we got here. Read chapter 28, verse 1.
Exodus 28. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons.
So right, these are all Aaron's sons. These were all Levites, okay? This is where the Levitical priesthood comes from. Read.
And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty.
Right. So what they had on, this thing here was beautiful, man. This thing was nice. We're gonna read about all these items and what was, what it was used for, how it looked. Read.
And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garment to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Read.
And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna read verse 4 again, but I just want to show them these are the items that are listed. If you can blow the picture up a little bit, IT, just a little bit. Yeah, right there. All right. So read that verse 4 one more time.
Verse 4. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate.
Hold that right there. So now we got the breastplate. This is talking about that gold, the gold chain that you see there. That's on Aaron. So you got the breastplate there. Read.
And an ephod.
An ephod, right? Ephod is going into right there. You see that ephod there that he had. That's hanging. Read.
And robe.
And a robe, right? He's got a robe on. That's also there with the garment. Read.
And a broidered coat.
And he had a coat on. So this with the priest's garment. Read.
A mitre.
He got a mitre that's on top of his head. Okay. So we're not saying this is the exact look of it, but this is more a depiction of how it may have looked. Okay. But at Most High want that thing looking immaculate. So we can just only imagine how that thing really, really looked. Read.
And a girdle.
Right. He got the golden girdle there with, girdle or sash, what you want to call it. Read.
And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Read.
And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. And they shall make the ephod of gold.
Right. So the ephod had to be made of gold. Okay. So this wasn't no brass or no what do you call it? That phony gold that you get from the Arab store. Read.
Of blue and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twin linen with cunning work. It should have the two shoulder pieces thereof joined at the two edges thereof. Right.
So you got the shoulder pieces, right? That you said. Could you point at the shoulder pieces? So you had the shoulder pieces there, and that chain, had to be connected to it. It was put on the garment. They didn't just put the chain on. I mean, what do you call it? They didn't put the breastplate on. That thing was attached to the garment. Read.
And so it shall be joined together. Verse 8. And the curious girdle of the ephod which is upon it shall be of the same according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twin linen.
Yeah. All right. Hey, IT, you may have to cut that part. I'm gonna get him to read that part there again. My mic had went out. I want you to go back and read verse 6 again.
Verse 6. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twin linen with cunning work. It shall have the two shoulder pieces thereof joined at the two edges thereof, and so it shall be joined together.
Right. So let you know that chain had the ephod, the breastplate, and all that, which was joined to the shoulder pieces. Okay. So that breastplate was attached to the garment. Okay. So that thing looked nice. So they didn't rock it like how we may rock gold chains. We throw it on our neck or whatever. This thing here was attached to the garment. Read.
And the curious girdle of the ephod which is upon it shall be of the same.
Right. So talking about the girdle there, right? That the girdle with that thing there was gold. It should be the same. So the ephod was attached to the girdle. Okay. Read.
According to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twin linen. And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones, and grave on them the names of the children of Israel.
Right. So on the shoulder, you see on the shoulder piece, you had 2 onyx stones that was on there, and engraved in them was the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. And can you imagine that the stone that thing had writing in it had the names of the 12 tribes? So so you can just imagine you may have 6 on one side and 6 on the other side of the tribes. Read. Well, Acts, I guess it's going to say it here. Read verse 10.
6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone according to their birth.
So it was in the birth order, okay, from the oldest to the youngest. Read.
With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, shalt thou engrave the two stones with the names of the children of Israel. Thou shalt make them to be set in ouches of gold.
So the ouches of gold, that's what you see that's on top of the you'll see that on the onyx thing. So that thing was an ouches. That's where you put it in, okay? They had ouches like pretty much where the like you would have a ring or something, and then you put that gem inside it. That's called an ouch. That's what it's called. So read where we at. What verse we at?
Verse 12.
Read.
And thou shalt put the two stones upon the shoulders of the ephod, for stones of memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord upon his shoulders for a memorial.
Read.
And thou shalt make ouches of gold, and two chains of pure gold at the ends of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches.
Right. So all this stuff here was set up nice, and because like today, you don't see nobody walking around with no garment like that. You don't see, you got fake Amalek. They claiming to be they claim to be us, but you don't see them walking around looking like that. You know what I'm saying? They were walking around looking crazy, looking like a wizard or something. Read.
And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod, thou shalt make it of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twin linen shalt thou make it.
Right, read.
4 square it shall be, being double as span. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof.
Right, so this thing here, you just imagine this thing had to be fire. Read.
And thou shalt set in it settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row.
So each row had different type of stones. Each stone represent the 12 tribes of Israel. Read.
And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a ligure, an agate, and
Amethyst.
And the fourth row a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings.
Right, read.
And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet.
Right, so it was the same way, just like on the onyx stones that's on the shoulder. Each tribe had 6 other tribes on one stone on the top and 6 on the other one according to their birth. This thing here, each stone, that we just read about, they had the Israelites' names written in each stone that represent them. Okay, read.
Every one with his name shall there be according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the ends of wreathen work of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and shalt put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And thou shalt put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate.
Right. So this thing, they had the rings in there. So the chain can hold it. Hold it toward the chest. Read.
And the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them upon the 2 ends of the breastplate in the border thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. And 2 other rings of gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod.
Right. So it's showing you all this stuff here was nice. It was you had the chain, you had all that stuff that was attached. And it was set up perfect. All this stuff here was perfect in the eyes of the Most High. Read.
And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loose from the ephod.
Right here, that the breastplate. That breastplate was sitting there perfect on the chest. So he walking, he wasn't just swinging and moving, you know, like how we would see, you know, somebody, one of the rappers in there, like on Wu-Tang, they got the chain swinging and all that. Now this thing, he was sitting there, it stayed with the with the garment, with the breastplate was in there. It was didn't move, it didn't move out of place. Most times I want that thing looking perfect. Okay, read.
And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place, for a memorial before the Lord continually.
Read.
And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually.
Right. So he gonna, you know, he had it. So like that thing that is talking about the Thummim and the, what do you call it? The Urim and the Thummim. You know, you can read about that. You know what I'm saying? That's something that what they would use to go, you know, to reach out to the Most High. You know, what it looked like, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We can read about it, but there's really no picture of how this thing looked. But you can look it up online. It'll tell you more about it. But I'm not going to go in depth of it. Okay, read.
And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue.
Right, so the robe that was on there is blue, okay? You had a blue robe, read.
And there shall be an hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof. It shall have a binding of woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of an habergeon, that it be not rent.
Right, so this thing can't be torn, right? Read.
And beneath upon the hem of it thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet round about the hem thereof.
Right, so this going into the fringes, right? You know, it have fringes on there, and it's showing you, you know, you could pull it up, IT, so they can kind of see it, so they can see. Yeah, pull it up. So it's let you know you had the hems down. It's talking about the border blue and the fringes there. Okay, so this thing had to look nice. It was designed. You know, you can see this old. You can see some old pictures of Gad and them with their garments and stuff. They had gold and had those bells and stuff that's hanging there. That's all biblical. They doing what they see. What you can read in the Bible. They are Israelites as well. The Northern Kingdom, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, okay? The Southern Kingdom, the so-called African Americans, your Haitian blacks, and your East Indian blacks, okay? That's down in the Caribbean. That was the three tribes that made up Judah, okay? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Then you had the lost 10 tribes, which is your Hispanics and Native Americans today. All right? So read off where we left off.
And bells of gold between them round about. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, upon the hem of the robe round about.
Read.
And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy place before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not.
Right. So that thing. So when he was moving in there, you heard the priest. When the priest came out there, you heard them bells. You know what I'm saying? They made noise to symbolize, hey, the priest, he's coming through. You know, make way, watch out. You know, don't be in the priest's way. Read.
And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, and a grave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness to the Lord. And thou shalt put it on a blue lace, that it may be upon the mitre. Upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be.
Right. So you see that gold plate that's on top of the mitre there. So it's like a gold band. You'll see that right there. Yeah, that's what it's going into. Read.
And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord.
Right, read.
And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of the fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's son thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make for them girdles, and bonnets shalt thou make for them for glory and for beauty.
Read.
And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother and his sons with him, and shalt anoint them and consecrate them and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Right. So they had to be sanctified and everything when they had this, when they had They'd be purified. There's a reason for all this, right? Because they had to do the works of the Most High. This is why the priests and them didn't have a land. You know what I'm saying? When you read about it in the book of Joshua, Joshua, you read about how the Israelites had their lands. The lands were given to them, but the priests and them, they didn't have land, so they dwelt amongst all the 12 tribes in their land. Okay, and they were the ones that did the minister. Read
Verse 42. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. From the loins even into the thighs they shall reach.
Right. So it's letting you know under the garment, guess what? They had pants. They wore pants. That's why your grandma tell you, pull your breeches up there, young man. Pull them up. So they wore pants. The women wore dresses, okay, or skirts. But man didn't. We got to think about when we was in Egypt, everybody was cross-dressing. So in Egypt, everybody was wearing skirts or y'all would say skirts. Or if they had a robe on it was a dress because they didn't have no pants underneath there. But the Most High said, "Now you gonna put pants on." The man always wore pants, during this time. Okay, read.
And they shall be upon Aaron and upon his sons when they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place, that they bear not the iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed after him.
Right, because if they had to wear a dress or skirt, guess what? People may see something underneath that they shouldn't be seeing. They be, they're shame, that we would call indecent exposure. So hey, he said, "Nah, you're gonna put on pants." And everything that we had to mimic, we had to wear. This thing was mimicked just like up in heaven. This is what the angels in them wear. This is what the Most High in them wear. They got pants, and they had a garment over the pants. Okay, so we're gonna jump to we're gonna go to go to chapter 30 and verse. We're not gonna read chapter 29. That's going into how the priests, how they sanctified them, how they cleansed them, and so on and so forth. Y'all can read that on your own time. But we're going to get just touching on the holy vessels here, okay? So read chapter 30 and verse 1. Give me, while you get that, give me picture number 12, IT. Picture number 12. So they can see what we are about to read about. So this is going into the picture of the bronze laver, I think, yeah. No, I'm sorry. This is going into the altar, the incense. So that's what we're touching on right here. This is where the incense, what we had, and you burn the incense, and the incense had to be burning at all times, okay? So this is what is the altar, the incense. Read what you got.
Exodus 30, verse 1. And thou shalt make an altar to burn incense upon. Of shittim wood shalt thou make it. A cubit shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof. 4 square shall it be, and 2 cubits shall be the height thereof. The horns thereof shall be of the same.
Right, so it's got horns on it too that you see sticking out on the top. The four corners, read.
And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, the top thereof and the sides thereof round about, and the horns thereof. And thou shalt make unto it a crown of gold round about.
So it's got the crown just like like a king have a crown on top of his head. So you got the crown that's in between the horns, read.
And 2 golden rings shalt thou make to it under the crown of it. By the 2 corners thereof, upon the 2 sides of it shalt thou make it. And they shall be for places for the staves to bear it withal. So
just like the other vessels that was able to be carried, the staves, they had the rings, they had the staves in there that go in there, and that's how it be carried from point A to point B, or where they had to move it around in the tabernacle. When they had to take the tabernacle down, they had to move those items. Read.
And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put it before the veil that is by the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony.
Right, just like what we saw in that one picture, where it was set up. We'll touch on that when we get toward the end. Read.
Where I will meet with thee. And Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning when he dresses the lamps. He shall burn incense upon it.
Right. He had to burn incense. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's what you had a priest that certain priests, their office was to burn incense. That's what their duty was. Each family, each son of Aaron, had an office to do, and their descendants did that office. Okay, they didn't jump and do the works of what this other son had to do. Everybody had their office that they had to do their particular job or work. Read.
And when Aaron lighted the lamps at even, he shall burn incense upon it, a perpetual incense before the Lord throughout your generations.
Read.
Ye shall offer no strange incense thereon, nor burnt sacrifices, nor meat offering, neither shall ye pour drink offering thereon.
Right. He said all that thing that was strictly for a specific type of incense. He said, I don't want you burning nothing strange. You know, we can go to the store and buy a different type of incense. He said, I want that frankincense and myrrh. He said, I want those things burned in there that had that type of sweet smell. He said, all that other stuff, nah, I don't want that burned in my tabernacle. Read.
And Aaron shall make an atonement upon the horns of it once in a year with the blood of the sin offering of atonements. Once in a year shall he make atonement upon it throughout your generations. It is most holy unto the Lord.
Right. So those horns, he dip a little blood on the horn or whatever, when it come time for that to make the offering for an atonement for the Day of Atonement. Read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, when thou takest the sum of the children of Israel after their number, then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul unto the Lord when thou numberest them, that there be no plague among them when thou numberest them.
Mm-hmm.
This they shall give every one that passes among them that are numbered, half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerahs, and half shekel shall be the offering of the Lord. Everyone that passes among them that are numbered from 20 years old and above shall give an offering to the Lord. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel when they give an offering to the Lord, to make an atonement for your souls. And thou shalt take the atonement money of the children of Israel, and shall appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, that it may be a memorial unto the children of Israel before the Lord, to make an atonement for your souls.
Right. So there was certain things that we had to do to make that atonement. Okay, everything had to be done in order. Most High is strategic. Everything had to be done this specific way. If it was done out of the way, guess what? You may have got jacked up, or you might have got killed. Read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal, and thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein.
All right, so hold that right there. So give me that. Give me the other image there. It. I want to say picture 13. So this is going into that brass lever. Okay. This is that brass lever that was out there, and they had water in it. This is what we had to wash ourselves with. So this is the depiction. Like I said, we ain't saying this is the actual item or this is the actual thing, but this is a depiction of what it looked like. Okay, so they had to come there and they had to wash themselves before they came in and do their services. Okay, Most High he didn't want you to come up in there all dirty and you touching on stuff. You got to think about it. You touching animals and all that, everything that was being brought there. So you want to make sure that you was clean before touching certain things. All right. So read that verse again.
Verse 18. Thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein. Mm-hmm. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat.
Right, so they had to wash their hands and their feet. This was the what they had to do. Read.
When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, and they die not. Or when they come near to the altar to minister to burn offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Right. So this was the ritual that what we had to do. That there was a specific order. In a way that the Most High, he wanted that thing done. It had to be just like that. If you did something out of the way, because we had to practice this thing. You practice to make perfect. So you go out here and try to do your own thing. Guess what? You can get jacked up, or you get other people jacked up for being self-willed. All right, read.
So they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not, and it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations.
Right. So just let you know how that thing there, how it was taking place. But read on.
Moreover, the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take thou also unto the principal spices of myrrh, of pure myrrh, 500 shekels of sweet cinnamon, half so much, even 250 shekels, and of sweet calamus, and 250 shekels, and of cassia, 500 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, and of oil, olive, and hin.
Right. So he's showing we needed all these certain type of oils and perfumes, these things that had to smell good. So you can imagine you coming into the temple, that thing had to be smelling good, you know, because think about it, you got smoke going on, you had all type of fire and smoke taking place, but you know you had to do something to help mask some of that smell. You had animals, you know, you think about you bringing in a goat or a dog, we call a goat and a sheep. You bringing them in to get sacrificed. You got cattle. You know, them animals, they stink. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, he had to have some stuff in there to mask that smell. Read.
And thou shalt make it an oil of holy ointment, an ointment compound after the art of the
apothecary.
It shall be an holy anointing oil. And thou shalt appoint the tabernacle of the congregation therewith, and the ark of the testimony, and the table and all his vessels, and the candlestick and his vessels, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering with all his vessels, and the laver and his foot. And thou shalt sanctify them, that they may be most holy. Whatsoever touches them shall be holy.
Right. So all that, everything that was being made, you know, it had to be anointed. Everything had to be anointed by the Most High. You know, it had to be prayed upon, had to be anointed. You know, there's a certain way how we had to do it. We don't know how that thing is done. We lost, you know, what it says in Jeremiah 17:4, you're going to discontinue from my heritage, right? So read.
And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons and consecrate them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office.
So even the priests, they had to be anointed and consecrated, okay? Read.
And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, this shall be an holy anointing oil unto me throughout your generations. Upon man's flesh shall it not be pure, neither shall ye make it any other like it, after the composition of it. It is holy, and it shall be holy unto you. Whosoever compoundeth any like it, or whatsoever putteth any of it upon a stranger, shall even be cut off from his people. And the Lord said unto Moses, take unto these sweet spices, stachy and onachah and galbanum, these sweet spices with pure frankincense, of each shall there be like weight. And thou shalt make it a perfume, a confection after the art of the apothecary, tempered together, pure and holy. And thou shalt beat some of it very small, and put it of it before the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, where I will meet with thee. It shall be unto you most holy. And as for the perfume which thou shalt make, ye shall not make to yourselves according to the composition thereof.
So he's saying, the Most High said, y'all can't make this for yourself. This is something, why? You know, Israel going to try to sell that thing. They'll take it and try to sell it. Y'all, I got that, hey, I got that tabernacle oil right here. I got that tabernacle perfume or cologne. So he said, nah, this right here specifically for the tabernacle, and the holy, everything in there that was holy. So this oil and this apothecary, that's what it will call it. He said this potion, I ain't gonna say potion, but how it was made, the ingredients. He said this thing here had, it was special, and it was only made for the tabernacle. Read.
It shall be unto thee holy for the Lord. Whosoever shall make like unto that to smell thereto shall even be cut off from his people.
You mean you be put to death, okay? So now let's get to, we'll go to chapter 31. Chapter 31, verse 1.
Exodus 31. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, see, I have called by name Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah.
Right. So now he's going to name certain people. So what we're going into now in chapter 31, there were certain people the Most High gave the understanding, the wisdom on how to make these things here. Okay. Everybody didn't know how to make this, So he had certain people he put the wisdom into their brain. He was talking about the heart is your brain, your mind, according to Mark 7:21. So he said, hey, these people here, they're going to know how to make it because they already have skills. They already knew how to do the type of, what you call it. Like you had somebody was a blacksmith, somebody was, can make art and do work. He said, these individuals, I'm going to put in them, these special individuals, they'll be able to make this thing come to pass. Read.
Verse 3. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom and in understanding and in knowledge and of all manner of workmanship.
Right.
to devise cunning works, to work in gold, and in silver, and in brass, and in cutting of stones to set them, and in carving of timber, to work in all manner of workmanship.
Right. So it's showing you they know how to make this thing. They were good in this type of work. And he said, I'm going to give them more wisdom and understanding on how to make this thing according to the fashion up in heaven. Read.
Verse 6, and I, behold, I have given with him Aholiab, the son of Eshemik, of the tribe of Dan. And in the hearts of all that are wise-hearted I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I have commanded thee. The tabernacle of the congregation, and the ark of the testimony, and the mercy seat that is thereupon, and all the furniture of the tabernacle. And the table and its furniture, and the pure candlestick with all his furniture, and the altar of incense. Mm-hmm. And the altar of burnt offering with all his furniture, and the laver and his foot. And the clothes of service, and the holy garments of Aaron, the priest, and the garments of his sons, to minister in the priest's office.
Right. Read.
And the anointing oil and sweet incense for the holy place, according to all that I have commanded thee, shall they do.
Right. All that they're going to do this thing here. Okay. So I just wanted to touch on y'all. I just want to show you guys the visual, give you a depiction of how everything looks. So I'm gonna give me that the picture number 14. It. Let's go over picture 14 real quick, and then I'm gonna touch on something else pertaining to this. Give me that picture 14. So this is like a depiction of what it looked like out there in the wilderness, how everything was set. You can kind of blow it up a little bit, IT, for me. All right. So you see, I had to black out Esau that was depicted as the priest, because that's not biblical. Okay. So as you see the courtyard. As you guys see the courtyard there, you see what it was talking about, the gate. You come to the left, come back to the left where you see the purple on the outside of the gate. Yeah, so you remember it was mentioning that, how that looked, how you had the curtains there that was sewn. You got the pillars there. If you look, you see you got the what do you call it, the bronze? What is it? I'm gonna do it like this so I don't get confused. All right. You can bring it in a little bit more. Bring it a little bit more real quick. All right, so touch on number 14 right there. Number 14 is that's the bronze altar right there. That's where they brought the sacrifices and they burned it. See the priest right there doing their offices. If you go over there to where the water is, the water, that's the bronze laver right there, where they will wash their hands and their feet, before they go into the temple to do or to do any of their offices. Okay. Go to the tabernacle real quick. You see the curtains on the outside of the tabernacle. You see how the designs were. If you look over there, you see the what do you call it? The candlestick, the menorah. You see how it was lit up where it was placed at. You see the showbread, the table right there. That's the table. You got the showbread there always continually. You'll see the altar incense, which is right there by the veil. That's the veil right there. Behind the veil, that's the most holy place. So everything that was on the other side is called the holy place. All that is called the holy place inside. Then you had the most holy place. That's where the Ark of the Covenant was. Okay. And then you had what was inside the Ark of the Covenant was you had Moses. You had the 2 tables of stone. You had the Aaron's rod that budded. And you had a pot of manna in there, that the manna that was angel food that Most High fed us out in the wilderness. Okay, so just give you a depiction of how that thing looked, and that's how the tents were set up on the outside. If you make it smaller, real quick, IT, give you a depiction. This is how the tents, how we set up the tents. According to the families. I'm just giving you a depiction of how it looked there. I'm not saying it was set in that specific order. Because you could look online. And there's many different orders, but it was set up according to Jacob's sons, which is Israel's sons, and according to, I guess, their mothers. So that's how it was set up. And you had the priests; they was assigned to those certain families. Okay, so this just give you a depiction of what it looked like somewhere when you go read. You read about the tabernacle, you read about the vessels, the holy vessels inside the tabernacle. You have a depiction, you have an idea of how things would look, how it was set up, what we went through in the wilderness, and and before we had to split in Israel, how things were set up. okay? And that's what it looked like in the tabernacle. But I just want to touch on a few things because you would see there's like a big doctrine or big old lie going out, conspiracy, saying that like Ethiopia, that they have the Ark of the Covenant, or it's been found, all these Indiana Jones movies and Last Crusades or the Lost Ark, all that stuff is garbage. Okay, so we're gonna debunk all that stuff real quick. So give me with that, let's go to, let me see here real quick. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 5 real quick. We'll touch on that. 1 Samuel chapter 5. We'll start at verse let me see here real quick. 1 Samuel chapter 5 verse 1 real quick.
1 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod.
Right. So reason why I'm touching on this right here. This going into history right here. So one time, we had one of our enemies, the Philistines. You know what I'm saying? They came and they took the ark. So what just to kind of catch you up to speed, you read about Eli. Eli was the high priest. He had two sons. His two sons, they were wicked. You know what I'm saying? They had, the two sons. I think it was what's the name? I forget the name here. I'm jumping around, but his two sons, they were wicked, and they would mistreating the people. They was just doing all kind of wicked stuff. You can read about that in chapter 2. Okay, so but Eli didn't correct his sons, and he kind of conquered his son. He's supposed to had did some judgment to them because they were sleeping with the women and robbing the people, doing all kind of mess. So hey, he didn't do that. The Most High jacked him up. And because of that, because of his sin, because he was the judge of Israel, Most High said, you know what, we got to, I'm going to have the Philistines come and conquer y'all, and they're going to take the Ark of the Covenant. So let's read that. Read that 1 Samuel 5 and 1.
1 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon.
Right, so Dagon was the god of the Philistine. That's who they worship. That's going into some kind of like fish-looking god or whatever. That's who they worship, their idol. Read.
And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord.
Right, so they put the Ark of the Covenant by there, but hey, the Most High and them knocked that thing down. He had the angels that knocked that thing down, man. That thing that's not worthy to be. We ain't gonna have our holy vessel set next to no garbage. Read.
And they took Dagon and set him in his place again.
All right, now they set their little fake god. They set it back up there again in this place. Read.
And when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him.
Right, so that thing fell down and broke. So this showing you that the Ark of the Covenant, that thing is serious to the Most High. Okay, he don't play when it comes to his holy vessels. Okay, if he allowed it to be taken, but he said, I'm not, but this thing got some power to it. I want you to know that if it's being mistreated or mishandled, the Most High will kill you. So I know our people. I ain't gonna say our people. I know the heathen, the other nations in them, don't have the Ark of the Covenant. They're just showing you proof. But read on.
Therefore, neither the priests of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day.
Read.
But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emerods, even Ashdod and the coast thereof.
So he took all of them and gave them hemorrhoids. That's what the emeroids are. He gave them hemorrhoids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can look it up. Those who don't know what hemorrhoids are, but I heard it's not good. So he gave everybody that. You know what I'm saying? Because they had the Ark of the Covenant. But read.
And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, the ark of the God of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us and upon Dagon our God.
Right. You hear that right there? So read.
They sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto him, and said, what shall we do with the ark of God of Israel? And they answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about into Gath. And they carried the ark of the God of Israel about thither.
Right, so they took it to this one location. Read.
And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction, and smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had hemorrhoids in their secret parts.
Right. They had, they would call the secret part. It's, it's in their buttocks. Read.
Therefore, they sent the ark of God to Ekron. And it came to pass, as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, They have brought about the ark of the God of Israel to us to slay us and our people.
Read.
So they sent and gathered together all the lords of Philistines and said, Send away the ark of God of Israel, and let it go again to its own place, that it slay us not and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city.
Right. So Most High was jacking them up, man, because they had the Ark of the Covenant. Read.
The hand of God was very heavy there, and the men that died not were smitten with hemorrhoids, and the cry of the city went up to heaven.
Right, right. So yeah, people had hemorrhoids, and you had a lot of people that died. Most High caused destruction on the Philistines. Right. So read on, chapter 6.
Chapter 6. And the ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. Mm-hmm. And the Philistines called for the priests and diviners, saying, What shall we do to the ark of the Lord? Tell us wherewith we shall send it to his place.
So they called on the priests, the Levites, say, hey, what do we need to do? Well, how do we send this thing off, right? Because ever since we had this thing, we had hell. You know what I'm saying? Straight hell in our place. Read.
And they said, If ye send away the ark of the God of Israel, send it not empty,
said don't send it empty. He said make sure everything's in there. Because they try to how people they'll try to. The other nations they want to rob and steal and take our stuff. They're like they took the ark. He said don't send that thing empty. Make sure everything's in there. Read.
But in any wise return him a trespass offering, then ye shall be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you.
Read.
Then said they, What shall be the trespass offering which we shall return to him? They answered, 5 golden emerods.
Said, hey, I want 5 golden emerods. Make your emerods, make it gold. Read.
And 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of Philistines. For one plague was on you all and on your lords.
Read.
Wherefore ye shall make images of your emerods.
Hear that? You got to make images of your own emerods. Can you imagine that? That's nasty stuff. So they had to go and get pictures of it. They couldn't take no pictures. They had no cameras, so they had to draw that thing. Read.
And images of your mice that mar the land.
Right, because the Most High caused mice to come through and tear up, eat up all their stuff. And, mice hold, diseases and all type of stuff. So they had rats and mice just roaming around crazy. They couldn't get rid of them. Read.
And ye shall give glory unto the God of Israel. Peradventure, he will lighten his hand from off you, and from off your gods, and from off your land.
Read.
Wherefore, then do ye harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts, when he had wrought wonderfully among them. Did they not let the people go, and they departed? Right.
So he had to send them. He had to tell them by the reminder. Say, hey, you see what the Israelites and them God, what the Most High God, what they did to Egypt, and he'd destroy you the same way. Read.
Now, therefore, make a new cart, and take 2 meats kine, on which there hath come no yoke, and tie the kine to the cart, and bring their calves home from them. And take the ark of the Lord, and lay it upon the cart, and put the jewels of gold which you return for a trespass offering in a coffer by the side thereof, and send it away that it may go.
Right. So now bring that thing. I want you to take it with those type of what we call it, cattle, and I want you to put it to the side. The pictures of your emerods, the pictures of the golden emerods and the golden mice, not the pictures, but I'm talking about the gold. That was formed in that fashion. Read.
And see, if it goeth up by the way of his own coast to Beth Shemesh, then he hath done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that it is not his hand that smote us. It was a chance that happened to us.
Read.
And the men did so, and took 2 mixed kine, and tied them to the cart, and shut up their calves at home. And they laid the ark of the Lord upon the cart, and the coffer with the mice of gold and the images of emerods. And the kine took the straight way to the way of Beth Shemesh, and went along the highway, lowing as they went, and turned not aside to the right or to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them unto the border of Beth-Shemesh.
Read.
And they of Beth-Shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark and rejoiced to see
Right.
it.
So, the people that seen the ark coming in, they was happy. Like, oh, the ark coming back. Hey, we got our ark back. You know what I'm saying? This is the Israelites. This is us. But read.
And the cart came into the field of Joshua, a Beth-Shemite, and stood there, where there was a great stone, and they clave the wood of the cart and offered the kind a burnt offering unto the Lord.
Read.
And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord and the coffer that was with it, wherefore in the jewels of gold were, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Beth-Shemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrifices that same day unto the Lord.
Right. So now, they rejoicing. So now they doing the burnt offerings, the burnt sacrifices, because they got to retrieve the Ark of the Covenant. Read.
And when the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day.
Read.
And these are the golden emerods which the Philistines returned for a trespass offering unto the Lord for Ashdod, one for Gaza, one for Ashkelon, one for Gath, one for Ekron, one and the golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 lords, both of fenced cities and of country villages, even unto the great stone of
Abel.
Abel, whereon they set down the ark of the Lord, which stone remaineth unto this day in the field of Joshua the Beth-Shemesh.
Read.
And he smote the men of Beth-Shemesh because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. Even he smote of the people 50,010 men. And the people lamented because the Lord had smitten many of the people with a great slaughter.
So it's letting you know that. So now, remember what happened to the Philistine. What happened to that god Dagon or whatever? He fell down, broke into pieces. Most High smitten them with hemorrhoids, and they had mice in their city and killed a lot of their people too. Now our people, this is our own people. They got the Ark of the Covenant. Guess what? They want to be nosy and open that thing and want to be self-willed, do their own thing. Guess what? The Most High killed them too for being rebellious. They're not supposed to look and see what's in there. Okay, so since they did that, Most High caused a great slaughter. Read.
And the men of Beth-Shemesh said, who is able to stand before this holy Lord God? And to whom shall he go up from us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Gerthoth Jearim, saying, the Philistines have brought again the ark of the Lord. Come ye down and fetch it up to you.
Right. So now it's being brought to that place. I'm just trying to. I'm gonna touch on some more stuff here. I want you to go to 1 Samuel. Go to 2 Samuel, chapter 6 and verse 1. 2 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 1. Because I want to show you. I'm just gonna get to the point. I want to stay too long, but read that.
2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 1.
So now this is when David became king, right? So as David became king, now he's getting the ark to get moved. So it's showing you how powerful this thing is, how the Most High, how he's with his holy vessels. So this is how you know Esau or no other nation or the Hamitic tribes that you see in Africa, nobody ain't found or got this Ark of the Covenant. Read.
Again, David gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baal of Judah to bring up from thence the ark of God, whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, that dwelleth between the cherubims. And they set the ark of God upon a new cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab that was in Gibeah, and Josiah and Ahihu, the sons of Abinadab, drave the new cart. And they brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was at Gibeah, accompanying the ark of God in Ahihu before the ark.
Right, read.
And David and all the house of Israel played before the Lord on all manner of instruments made of fir wood, even on harps and on psalteries and on timbrels and on cornets and on cymbals.
Right. So they had they were playing. They had music playing when the ark returned. He was trying to get the ark to come to his hometown. Okay. So read.
And when they came to Nashon's threshing floor, Uzzah put forth his hand to the ark.
Uzziah
put forth his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen shook it.
For the oxen shook it, right? Because he had to be careful with this thing. So he wasn't that careful. That thing shook. And see, what did God do to him? Read.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God smote him there for his error, and there he died by the ark of God.
Right, hear that? He died right there. The Most High ain't playing. So jump down to verse 9 real quick.
Verse 9. And David was afraid of the Lord that day and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me?
Right, he said, how should the ark of the Lord come to me? He was afraid. He said, I ain't messing with that thing. I don't want to, I ain't trying to die. But I'm going to jump. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can read the rest of that on your own time. So we're going to get to the point. Go to 2 Maccabees chapter 2 real quick, and we'll get to the point. 2 Maccabees chapter 2. We'll show you about what happened to the ark, what took place, and where it's at. You got that? Start at verse 1.
2 Maccabees chapter 2. It is also found in the records that Jeremy the prophet commanded them that were carried away to take of the fire as it had been signified.
Right, so Jeremy is Jeremiah. So that's Jeremiah written in Greek. That's what that's going into. Read.
And how that the prophet, having given them the law, charged them not to forget the commandments of the Lord, and that they should not err in their minds. When they see images of silver and gold with their ornaments.
Read.
And with other such speeches exhorted he them that the law should not depart from their hearts.
Right, so this is the point right here. Read.
It was also contained in the same writing that the prophet, being warned of God, commanded the tabernacle and the ark to go with him as he went forth into the mountain, where Moses climbed up and saw the heritage of God.
Right, so the same place where we had read back in Exodus chapter 25, so on and so forth, when he went up there to the mount, and he spoke to the Most High, and he showed them the visions, and showed them how to make the Ark of the Covenant and all the other holy vessels and the tabernacle. So he said, hey, the Ark. So right now we're reading about the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant. So Jeremiah had that thing with him. He took that with him. This is right before the Babylonian captivity. Read.
And when Jeremy came thither, he found an hollow cave, wherein he laid the tabernacle.
He laid the tabernacle there, right? Read.
And the ark.
The Ark of the Covenant. Read.
And the altar of incense.
The altar of incense. Also that thing. They say, hey, he laid those things right in there, okay? Read.
And so stopped the door.
He stopped the door. So he said he put it in that cave and he stopped the door. But let's read on.
And some of those that followed him came to mark the way.
So yeah, some people try to mark the way so they can come back and grab that thing. This is how wicked some of our people are. Read.
But they could not find it.
So they could not find it. But read.
Which when Jeremy received, he blamed them, saying, as for that place, it shall be unknown until the time that God gather his people again together and receive them unto mercy.
Right. So until Christ come back, we get the kingdom. Hey, that's when we get when we'll be able to see the Ark of the Covenant, and we'll be able to see, the tabernacle. We'll be able to see the altar of incense. So, hey, you hear all these other nations saying they found it, or Indiana, they think they're Indiana Jones because they Tomb Raiders or whatever. They have not found that. The what do you call it? The Ethiopians, they do not have the Ark of the Covenant. You guys read. The Bible said, let God be true and every man a liar. Okay, so ain't no way if they supposedly found it or touched it, guess what? They're going to be put to death. So they don't have it. You know where it's at. We read it in 2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 4. Read on down a little bit. Hey, that's what happened to the Ark of the Covenant. But Israel. But with that, we're going to tell you, hey, look, I'm Officer Nahum. We here in IUIC Raleigh. We was going over doing in the classroom of Raleigh. The title again was The Most High's Tabernacle and Holy Vessels. Okay, with that, hope you guys learned something today. All praises to the Most High. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.